Assalamualaikum. Today we're going to be making a decorative candle holder using podge, a nice decorative napkin, a glass votive holder, and you can get a LED light or a battery operated light or an actual candle, and a Sharpie and a paintbrush and some scissors. So the first thing we need to do is get our napkin and unfold it, and then take this, it's a 2-ply napkin, which means that there is a underside and a top side, and we need to separate those two sides because when we do our votive, we would like as less layers as possible so that more light can go through. The more layers you have, the less light that will go through, and it won't really show the design as well as you would like. So you just separate the two parts. Okay, I'm just gonna put it down here. I don't need the white part anymore. What I do need is this part right here, which I'm going to be using to decorate my candle. I'm just going to see how much I am going to need, and then cut it so that I have enough to cover my votive. And I got the votive from the dollar store. They came in a pack of 3. Next, I'm going to take the podge and I'm going to pour it into my container. Okay. And then I'm going to take my paintbrush and I'm going to do a thin layer on a part of it. I'm not going to use the whole thing quite. I'm not going to do the whole thing quite yet. Okay, and then you take your napkin, and I think this is a little too big, so I'm just going to cut it a little bit more to size. Okay, and don't worry if it's not even, it's not going to show once you tuck it in and over, so we're gonna try to get as close to the top as we can. Okay, and actually I would like this part to be more, since there's more decoration on the back, so let me just put a little bit more Mod Podge on here. Okay, and then we're gonna take this and smooth it out as you're going. You don't want too many wrinkles. Okay, and then we're going to get some more and paint another thin layer so that we cover the whole votive. And just go slowly with that, there's no rush. Okay, need a little bit more Mod Podge. You can also be using a foam brush. You don't need a paintbrush for this. You can use a sponge. Just be a little gentle because the napkin is thin and fragile. Okay, so as you see, I'm just putting it down and I am smoothing it as I am going. And sometimes I have to adjust the napkin so it covers all of it. Okay, and then we have one last part right here, and I'm going to just go over just like that. And then do you see how I have some on the bottom here? I'm just going to put some Mod Podge on here and just cover it up like so. Okay, Now once you've done that, next thing is to cut off the excess that you have. And you see how I got a little hole here? That's okay. It's not anything major to worry about. You can always fix it and then just patch it up. Okay. Now I'm going to trim off the top part. Okay. And the reason we did the votive was because of Allah's name Al-Nur, which means the light. So I thought this was a fitting craft for it. Now I'm going to take the Mod Podge and put it over here so that and fold it over just a tad bit. You see how this is coming off? You just need to glue it back on. It's not a big deal. It happens. And these items, even the Mod Podge, I found at the dollar store. And if you don't have Mod Podge, you can always use 2/3 part glue and 1/3 part water and mix it together, and then you can use that solution instead of the Mod Podge. So I'm just tearing this off because I do have that little tear over there, and so I'm just going to cover that part up. Because when you do light it, it will show if the glass part is not covered. So you do want to cover everything up. But try not to get a hole, but if you do, it's not the end of the world. You can still salvage the project. Okay, so once that is done, the next thing you're going to have to do is go over it again with Mod Podge on top of the candle. So we're going to put some in here. And actually, I see another part over here that came off, so I'm going to put it right there. Okay, then we take our Mod Podge and we go over it. And the reason we go over it is that, number one, it sticks to the votive, and also because it will give us this nice shiny glaze that Mod Podge is known for, which is what we want. Okay, so you're just going to cover the entire thing, and this takes it'll take maybe, depending on the humidity and where you're at, it may take anywhere from an hour to a couple of hours to dry. So you would like it to dry before you inspect it again. Make sure all the holes are covered. If they're not, just go over it again. Just put another piece, cover that with another piece or patch of the napkin, and it should be fine. And then do the same steps over. Cover it again with Mod Podge, let it dry. And then once it's completely dry and you're happy and satisfied with the way that it came out, then you take a Sharpie and you write Asma al Husna's name on it, which is Al-Nur, because Al-Nur means light. He's the one who shines light on all of us. He is the source of all light. And we're just gonna put it down like this and let it dry. And I use a Sharpie to write out his name. And you can look up the image online just to make sure you are writing it correctly. You can also get vinyl and stick it on if you'd like to do that, if you have an electronic cutting machine, or if you want to print it out and stick it on. But that is how you do. Thank you guys so much for watching. Assalamu alaikum.